Marsden Hartley was an American modernist painter known for his use of volumetric forms, rich colors, and bold lines. Similar to his contemporaries Arthur Dove and Georgia O'Keeffe, Hartley's depictions of landscapes, figures, and still lifes exude a reference towards the natural world. The essential of a real picture is the things which occur in it occur to him in his personal fashion, he once mused. The idea of modernity is but a new attachment of things universal, a fresh relationship to the courses of the sun and to the living swing of the earth, a new fire of affection for the living essence present everywhere. Born Edmund Hartley on January 4, 1877, in Lewiston, Maine, he suffered a bleak childhood in which his mother died, and he was left alone in Maine at the age of 14 to work in a factory. Joining his family in Cleveland in 1892, he studied at the Cleveland School of Art before moving to New York in 1898. Here he attended the classes of William Merritt Chase and visited the studio of the American painter Albert Reiter. Hartley would later travel to Europe, falling in with Gertrude Stein's circle of artists and the writers in Paris, and befriending Kandinsky and Franz Marc in Berlin. While in Berlin, he produced what is today one of the most admired works, Portrait of the German Officer, 1914, which abstractly depicts the military mementos of his friend Karl von Freyberg. Returning to America for good in 1930, he mended his relationship with the New England landscape of his childhood, depicting the boulder-strewn late 17th century settlement in Dogtown, with a focus of Cézanne. Today, his works are held in the collections of the Art Institute in Chicago, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, the Walter Art Center of Minneapolis, and the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden in Washington, D.C. Important works include Portrait of the German Officer, 1914, oil on canvas. Hartley wrote, "I began somehow to have a curiosity about art at the time when sex conscientiousness is fully developed, and as I did not incline to concrete escapades, I of course inclined to abstract ones. And the collecting of objects, which is a sex expression, took the upper hand." Hartley's use of object abstraction became the motive for his paintings that commemorate his love object, Karl von Freyberg. According to Merrill Donny, Hartley conveyed his emotions regarding his friend's traits in his paintings through everyday items. A few other important paintings include The Ice Hole, 1908, in the New Orleans Museum of Art, and Autumn, 1910, in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Hartley painted many of his small early compositions over a colorful priming layer that generously shows through the upper strokes of pure, undiluted color. In his composition, the deep purple priming layer was thinly painted with a wide bristle brush, which creates a feathery, semi-transparent texture. In addition to influencing the overall tonality of the picture, it creates the impression of outlines around the individual brushstrokes, achieving dimension with the picture plane and infusing the composition with animated vibrancy. When he returned to Maine in 1937, after declaring that he wants to become the painter of Maine and depict American life at the local level, he continued to paint in Maine, primarily scenes around Level and Korea Coast, until his death in Ellsworth in 1943.